Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome to the Hildebrand Law Firm topic for today.
I'm Kirsten Hildebrand.
And I'm Matt Kaplan.
And today we are going to talk about something that actually just happened to me. I was in a meeting with a client and we were talking about irrevocable trust. A lot.
What are those?
That's a really good question. So we're going to talk about what irrevocable trusts are.
Okay.
And also then maybe dive in a little bit about what the qualities of a good irrevocable trust might be.
And now, Kirsten, can I just Google, do I need an irrevocable trust?
Oh, this is the thing. I forgot to mention that the person that I just was talking with, she had Googled, or what do they call it? Chat
GPT?
I thought it was Chat ABC.
No?
Okay, all right. So, Chatty Cathy on the internet is not going to be the right way to get this information because guess what? It's legal. So what that means is I went to law school in 1996. You went to law school in
sooner,
and so between the two of us, we've got decades of legal experience, and then we are utilizing methods and ways of looking at how to create documents with the maximum protection and the minimum amount of inconvenience, and it's kind of like a secret recipe. And so it's not like something that's just going to be out there on Google. Like, right. Here's how you do it. Because you can't go to law school, become a lawyer, work on these documents, have them reflect everything that we've learned through all kinds of different types of laws, and then expect Google or ChatGPT to be able to just bust that out.
Right. Exactly, because also one of the things that Google is not asking you is, what are your goals? What are your concerns? What do your assets look like? What are you trying to accomplish? So then how in the world is Google supposed to say, no, you don't need this? Or everybody has that one uncle who knows everything, or that one person at the gym who knows everything, or that one person in their friend group. Hey, man, you don't need this. Well, how do you know? And so I think one of the things I want to break down, Kirsten, is you may not need an irrevocable trust, but it depends on what type of irrevocable trust we're talking about, because irrevocable trusts are a wide, vast range of things.
Yes.
It's like one of the things that you say all the time. It's like saying, imagine if you Google, do I need a car? Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
What are you looking to get done?
Where do you live? Right. What are your assets? What are your needs? What are your goals?
Right.
All of those things come into play, and do I need a car? And it's the same way with an irrevocable trust. Right. Do you need an irrevocable trust? Well, it depends on, first of all, what are the qualities of the irrevocable trust as compared to your goals, and how do they match up?
Right.
So,
yeah, and as your goals also correspond with what kind of assets you have. So, for example, let's say someone comes to me and they say, I really want to make sure I protect my assets. Then I ask them, what kind of assets do you have? Oh, well, I've got a playing card collection. I got a bunch of video games. I've got a DVD collection. Oh, do you own your home? No, I rent. Do you own your car? No, I lease it. Well, what do your investments look like? I don't have any investments. I go, well, then what assets are we really trying to protect? All the things they talked about are more tangible property. Those are already protected. But so that's why it all mixes in together. And then when they say, well, do I need an irrevocable trust? Well, let's distill that out. And we'll distill out in further videos the differences between certain irrevocable trusts that we work with that we love, certain irrevocable trusts that are just a little bit more difficult to understand. But every trust is built for a particular purpose.
That's exactly right. And I think respecting that and understanding that is so critical towards then making good decisions. I feel like in this area of estate planning in general and figuring out what your goals and your needs are, people who are naturally very oppositional and just distrustful, they're going to find a reason not to put assets into trust.
Right.
And we even had a lawyer once. He was a lawyer and an engineer. So he was like a patent lawyer who came in, and he was giving every reason not to put his substantial assets into a trust. And at the end of the day, I learned that really his goal was to have his kids go through probate. He literally wanted his kids to have the experience of going through probate. And so there was, well, if he had told me that that was his goal in the beginning, then we wouldn't have even gone down that road.
We would have saved a lot of time.
We could have saved a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I'm not sure his wife aligned with that goal, because she sort of like gave me this look like, if he dies first, I'll be back. And I'm assuming that that will probably happen. But at least for him, he felt like that would be a way for these kids to finally understand what he does.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So it was an interesting one. But I think that if people come in open-minded and interested in really hearing from experts, like, this is really a good idea and something to consider. If you're interested in protecting your assets, then there is a solution. Let's talk about what the problem is first, though, before we talk about what the solution is. The problem is that in our litigious society, and in a society where we're literally paying with our tax money for benefits, Medicaid benefits specifically, that can take care of us if we need to be in assisted living or a nursing home, and we choose not to align our assets so that they can be protected and still inure the benefit of those assets, then we're going to be accepting a certain outcome.
Right.
And what that outcome is, then we have to think about that. Well, is that what I really want? So, for example, if I have a client who comes in and they have $1 million, and they have 3 children, and they have 6 grandchildren, and they really want to make sure that the kids have the ability to educate the grandkids, and they would really like that $1 million to go to those grandchildren. We can solve for that, but we can't guarantee it unless we put those assets in an asset protection irrevocable trust. And then we can. Of course, there's lots of circumstances and situations surrounding that. But the point is if that's what their goal is, we can help them get to that goal. What are some of the components of the irrevocable trust? What makes an irrevocable trust irrevocable?
This is an excellent question, because the question that we get all the time by clients is, oh, it's irrevocable, so I can't change it. They say that all the time. Is that true? Not necessarily.
Google says it is.
Google says it is, but it all depends on the type of irrevocable trust. But long story short, what makes something irrevocable is you put the asset into the name of the trust, and it's no take-backsies. That trust now owns that asset. Anything else, and I looked up the statute the other day, especially here in Wisconsin, about what actually makes a trust irrevocable, the statute is pretty silent as to that. So we have full flexibility to call something irrevocable. The biggest thing in the law is, though, you need to treat it as if it's irrevocable. So you can call something irrevocable all you want, but if you don't show a pattern of following those rules that you've established, then you're not going to get the asset protection. But I think, long story short, and Kirsten, you hit the nail on the head, the biggest point with irrevocable trust that we want to get along is that if your goal is to protect whatever assets you've earned over your life, an irrevocable trust is a really great way to do it. Now, what type of irrevocable trust? That we'll get into future videos, and depending on, like what Kirsten said, your goals, your assets, all of that. But I think at its core, when you hear irrevocable trust, think asset protection. Don't think set in stone. Don't think all my stuff is locked up. Think asset protection.
And don't think about, then that means I lose control. or that means I lose access,
Right.
or that means that now I can't even get any benefit from that. Am I going to get kicked out of my home if I put it into an irrevocable trust? Absolutely not. So
Right.
there's a lot of false information out there on the search engines that make broad sweeping statements about irrevocable trust that are just simply not true about all irrevocable trust. That's like saying all cars are blue. That's not true. There's lots of different colors of cars, or all cars have a V8 engine. Not true. Cars have many different types of engines. And so, in the same sense, it is true that some irrevocable trusts, you lose certain additional controls or benefits, but that's not true of all irrevocable trusts. Every irrevocable trust is a little bit different, and they can be drafted and crafted to meet your needs, whatever they might be. And I think that's the part that obviously is very much lost in the translation when you go online and Google irrevocable trust. There's no good sense in which, okay, what type of irrevocable trust are you looking for? Or as you said, Matt, before, what are your goals? And then really try to distinguish from there.
And in future videos, we'll talk about different types of irrevocable trusts. Maybe depending on what your needs are or your asset levels are, one of those might speak to you. Hopefully. I hope it does. I think an irrevocable trust is a good idea for anyone who's in this world of trying to protect their stuff.
But the one thing you do not want to do is try to get your information from the internet.
That's right.
It's a little like, oh my goodness, I've got a rash on, I don't know, my inner arm. And you go on to WebMD. And of course, the last option is always cancer
or West Nile virus.
Right.
So,
and so then you're looking at this, and then you go into the doctor and you find out it's completely, absolutely nothing like what WebMD was saying that it was. I don't know. That's happened to me multiple times. Has that happened to you?
Me too. And I had that exact situation. The doctor just said, "You're allergic to your detergent." I was like, WebMD tell me I'm dying.
That's right.
He's like, you're fine. Just use different detergent.
This is why with AI, there's no way that we're getting away from plain spoken, common sense doctoring and well done lawyering.
Right.
Because those two things require sitting across the table from somebody and really understanding who they are and understanding what's going on in the situation, and then helping them get to solutions.
Right. Well, look out for future videos talking about different types of irrevocable trusts coming up next.
Thanks so much.